It's another edition of Time About the Movies, a day late and a dollar short. You can tell by my voice, my allergies are kicking in, my nose is stuffed up. I don't have a cold, I don't have COVID. It's just allergies, man. They're just getting to me right now. It's been yesterday. I couldn't really record an episode because I just really wasn't in the right mood for it. But I'm feeling a little bit better. I still got the stuffy nose, and I'm gonna try to pull through here. So you'll get an episode today, and because I didn't do one yesterday, there'll be another episode tomorrow, and then we'll just jump into the regular schedule back on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, yada, yada, yada. So, anyway, let's get right to it. I want to get through this quickly, so let's go ahead and get started. We got a lot of movies to look at today. Let's start off with the first movie, and that is the big screen adaptation of Lord of the Flies. You know, funny enough, I read Lord of the Flies in high school, and we saw this movie. We also saw the first episode of Lost for some reason. I guess because it takes place on an island, but we also saw the Simpsons episode of where Bart and the kids get stranded on a deserted island. Is it really interesting to say that that episode of The Simpsons is probably the best adaptation of Lord of the Flies we've gotten so far? Not that this movie was terrible, it was just the casting I think works very well for this. I just don't think they really got the central motivation of the book completely down. It felt like a movie that was just trying to cash in on the success of this book that's been around for so many years. But it is a decently made movie. I do like that they got most of the ideas and most of the innovation, most of what the book was trying to do down. There's still a lot of key elements that I think they completely missed out on, but it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie, but I think it could be done a lot better. I do like that this movie doesn't take any safe way out. It just shows you the cold, hard reality of what is the situation, where even the most sadist person in the movie goes crazy by the end of it. It's a really bizarre. I mean, bizarre is not the word to say it. It just feels right with what they're trying to say here. Like I said, I think they could do it a lot better. I'm actually surprised they haven't tried to remake this as a movie since then, but maybe it could be something done. Like, maybe if you get a good director, maybe if you get some good kid actors, you could probably make this work in modern times. Maybe even make a mini-series or so. But, I mean, here's my thing. It's an okay movie, but I feel like it could be a lot better. If I'm saying The Simpsons did a better Lord of the Flies adaptation than this, that's not saying a good thing about this, a whole lot about this movie. But the movie itself is not terrible. I just wanted something better. I do like the kid actors in this. I do like the visuals. I do like that it doesn't pull any tricks out of you. It just gives you the cold, hard truth of the situation. And it's an okay movie. Bottom line, it's an okay movie, but I feel like it could have been a whole lot better. So, on to the next movie. Jamie Lee Curtis in Blue Steel. By the way, I'm chewing gum, so if you see something green in my mouth, it's gum right there. So, I should have said that at the beginning of the video. But let's get back to the focus here. Blue Steel, directed by Catherine Bigelow, produced by Oliver Stone. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, Ron Silver. It's funny because somebody was actually comparing this to Halloween, kind of, because it's basically Halloween if Laurie Strode ended up dating Michael Myers, because that's kind of what happens in this movie. Jamie Lee Curtis plays a cop, and her boyfriend, Ron Silver, turns out to be the killer, and he doesn't know, and he's a serial killer. And, it makes for a pretty interesting movie. One that I would have never ever compared to Halloween, because it's basically a cop thriller, but a pretty decent cop thriller, I gotta say. It's a movie that works for what it is. It works with the acting that they have. Catherine Bigelow's a pretty good action director. Ron Silver's really good. You got Clancy Brown, Louise Fletcher, Elizabeth Pena. It's a really good movie. It's one that I don't think a lot of people really know about, but if you haven't seen Blue Steel, I highly recommend checking it out. It's actually a very underrated cop thriller. It's not a generic cop thriller, but it's a really good cop thriller. It's one that I don't think a lot of people really talk about all that much. So that's Blue Steel for you. Let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, which is Lambada. Now, normally I don't usually do this, but I'm going to show you the trailer for the next movie that came out, which is pretty much the same movie as Lambada, except Not as good. It's literally the same movie about the Lambada, but it has a different title. It's called The Forbidden Dance. That's right. Canon Pictures, Warner Brothers, and Canon Globus put out two different movies with the same premise, the same dance as the main focus, and yet Lambada is still probably the best of the two. I mean, it's the one that I think still has the most memorability to it. It's a guilty pleasure movie, a very silly guilty pleasure movie, and it's just a ton of fun, man. Like, it's really one of those ridiculous movies. And this is made by the same people who made Breaking and Breaking 2, that did this movie. Joel Silberg, the director, and then the director of The Forbidden Dance was Graydon Clark, who also did stuff like Without Warning in 1980, Final Justice, Skinheads, High Riders, Satan's Cheerleaders, and, yeah, needless to say, The Forbidden Dance was not a very good movie, even though it had Laura Harring in it, but I'm sorry, but Laura Harring, man, from Lambada. I mean, the first time I ever saw her was on The Office, and she was pretty good looking for a woman in her, I guess she was in her 40s or 50s, not 50s. Let me just double check real quick. She's now in her 50s, but when The Office was on, she was in her 40s. But when she was in 1990, she was really good looking. I mean, she's not only a good looking actress, she's a really good actress. I've seen her in a lot of stuff I've really liked, and she's a pretty damn good singer too. I've heard her sing on various songs before, and she's actually not half bad. You also got Shabadoo from the Breaking films, J. Eddie Peck, and what dance movie could you say ends with a computer competition, and at the end of it? In fact, does it even end with a computer competition? I just thought about that for a second. Hold on. I haven't seen this movie in a long time. It's actually a trigonometry bee, and it's just like, it's so stupid, but for this type of a movie, you kind of get involved with it. You kind of just go along with the flow, and it's just a ton of fun. Lambada is something that knows it's silly, knows it's completely ridiculous, but it knows it's being over the top. Toy boat. But yeah, it knows it's being over the top. The Forbidden Dance just felt like a movie that it was trying to take itself a little too seriously, and just suffered miserably because of it. And just researching these movies, apparently Globus, the owner of Canon Globus, was also an executive producer on Lambada too. So he made two movies. These two movies came out on the same day. What is Lambada with J. Eddie Peck and Laura Harring was the best of the two, and then you had The Forbidden Dance. What a time to be alive. I mean, so that's my double review of Lambada and The Forbidden Dance. Now let's go to the middle of that pack and take a look at another movie that's over the top, but overall a pretty badass movie, and that is Rutger Hauer in Blind Fury. I have no idea if this was intended to be an American remake of the Itachi series, Itachi the Blind Swordsman, but you talk about another movie that's so over the top and knows it's over the top, but still wants to entertain you, and I'll be damned if it doesn't, because Rutger Hauer is a ton of fun in this movie. I love how silly this movie is. It knows it's silly, it knows it's action-packed, over-the-top, 90s cheese, and I loved every single moment of it. I love how ridiculous it gets. I love how silly it gets. The villain of the movie, Randall Tex Cobb, is amazing in this. Rutger Hauer is great as the Blind Swordsman. It's just so ridiculously stupid, but it's a ton of fun at the same time. There are moments in here where you will laugh out loud at how ridiculously over-the-top something is, from people getting shot, the way people get killed, to watching the bad guy getting split in half, and then this Who Framed Roger Rabbit-esque matte background of this mountain with the villain falling, and then slowly but surely the half that got cut off is just split apart. It's one of the funniest things you will ever see. It's so ridiculous. It's so stupid, but goddamn, I love every single moment of it. Blind Fury, man. If you haven't seen this movie, I can't recommend it enough. Definitely check it out. So, on to the last movie, and that is Nuns on the Run. So basically, it's We're No Angels meets Sister Act. I mean, you can pretty much see where We're No Angels can come into play here, and also how Sister Act got a lot of its inspiration from this movie. But, I don't know, I kind of enjoyed it. It's Jonathan Lynn, who also did My Cousin Vinny. You got Eric Idle and Robbie Coltrane. They're very funny actors, and they make something as kind of ridiculous and generic and silly as this is, and they have fun with it. It's a movie that it's not going to be something I'd want to watch over and over again, but I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad that Eric Idle and Robbie Coltrane got a chance to work off each other and make something really as hilarious as this movie. Really as hilarious as this movie is, because it really is a funny movie. Like, I got a lot more enjoyment out of it than I probably would have expected from it. Plus, it's got a good soundtrack, too. You got George Harrison, Steve Winwood's role with it. Just a great soundtrack for a pretty decent movie. I'd say definitely check it out, too, if you get a chance to. And with that said, that's going to wrap up another edition of Time About the Movie. So next time around, we get one of the biggest hits of the year, Richard Gere and Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. We also have A Shock to the System, and we also have The Fourth War. So 3 movies to look at next time around. Again, sorry for getting this one a day late, but I can't really control this right now because it's going to be continuing to... My allergies are going to continue to be affected by this weather for the next couple of days, so... Yeah, bear with me. I'm bearing through it, so I had to get something out there today. So, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and as always, if you want to see more videos like this, check out the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another all-new episode. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and until the next time I see you, take care.